one of the things that we've, people ask me all the time, what are you going to do? What's the first thing you're going to do when you take office? Well, the first thing that we have planned is between our two senators in Washington, they have 100 staff cars in Washington, U.S. We're going to send all but 10 or less of those back to Arkansas. And you can actually, by bringing them back to Arkansas, pay a good wage, $40,000 a year wage, and hire 10 more, where you'll have 51 for this Senate seat, and still come in $150,000 under budget. With that, we're going to put out, every 7 counties will have a representative that goes around, deals with the county judges, the local community leaders, like say a volunteer fire department may be the only entity they have in that community, but if you've been around the state and talked to those volunteer fire chiefs, they have serious problems just trying to maintain their districts.
Well, see, here's the thing. We have these Tea Partiers who are better educated, better financed, have better income than the average person in Arkansas who are dictating the program philosophy for everybody else. No taxes. Well, I want to know who's going to pay for that damn street out there. Who's going to pay for that dam that's breaking?
I think it's kind of like, I don't know that much about the Tea Party, but I sense that there are a lot of different people with a lot of different opinions, and I have met several of them that I consider people who are angry, but they're not quite sure what they're angry at, some of them. And the simple fact is, people do feel taxed, but they wouldn't feel so badly taxed if the people that have got all the money these days were paying their fair share. If corporate taxes, for instance, corporations used to pay a large part of the taxes. Now 70% of the corporations pay no taxes at all.
Well, what I think is interesting about the Tea Party is some of the original organization from it sort of came from this lobby group called Freedom Works, who works with big corporations. And there's a lot of good people in the Tea Party movement, I think, but that Freedom Works and Fox News sort of organized it in the beginning, and they called it taxed enough already, but they didn't specify which taxes we should oppose. I mean, some taxes we should oppose, and other ones we shouldn't. And I think what's interesting is the tax that they were interested in opposing were taxes on multimillionaires and billionaires. And it's primarily because of massive tax cuts to billionaires that's part of the reason our national debt's exploding. Yeah. Because we used to have,
everything is so counterintuitive too. For instance, back in the 60s, corporate marginal tax rate was 90%. Now what that meant was a corporation, in order to avoid paying all that money to the government in taxes, had to reinvest in their own company, hiring people for their own company. Yeah. Okay? Now, there is very little, most corporations don't pay taxes, so any profits they make is capital. And so they have the obligation to get the maximum return on their capital. The way you do that is go to China, build you a plant, and get 20-cent labor. Yeah. Okay? You don't do it by building in America.
In America, yeah.
Going back to what you're saying about the Tea Party, the volunteers have told me I've spoken, they said about 50. And this is what I found. In Arkansas, the Tea Party movement started out, people just like the Republican Party overtook it. Yeah. The only ones that have flourished and continue to thrive are the ones that maintain
independence,
independent venues where Democrats and Republicans, if you're not happy with the Green Party, it doesn't matter. Come in here, if you're not happy with the way the government's conducting business, let's voice our discontent.
Well, see,
and those Republicans, the ones that were taken over by the Republican Party have imploded. Yeah. And now what we're starting to see is another rise of true independent Tea Party.
Grassroots.
There were a couple or three of them left in the state, but your bigger ones, I mean, take Little Rock, for instance. I went to a big event down there, and the night before was asked to not attend.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, all the Republicans decided they wanted to show up and candidates this time, and they didn't want to.
I see that's true. I mean, I see sort of the grassroots movement where a lot of people have good hearts about, and they're trying to, they oppose the bailouts and things like that, which is good. But then you have the top-down thing too from the lobby groups. But I think there is some tension there. I mean, we saw like Sarah Palin try to head the Tea Party convention, and that sort of imploded. And a lot of people were upset because she was charging like $1,000 to come into the convention or something.
So let me say one other thing, which is Trevor and I haven't had a whole lot of chance to talk. But those there are certain areas where our goals are exactly the same. We want jobs back in Arkansas. We want out of WTO and free trade. There are many things that we have agreement on. Our details of exactly how to accomplish it might differ a little bit, but the goals are the same.
Well, Congress had a nonpartisan survey run of the difference between the Republican tax changes and the Democrat goals on the tax changes, and from the 30,000, 35,000 on up to about 200,000, there's not that much difference between how much taxes each person is going to pay. But when you get up to over $1 million, all of a sudden the difference it's like somebody put a bomb. And the difference on this map is the graph, you know, the little bitty ball. Here's the Democrat ball over here.
We can hold signs out
over here. When you
I don't know where my other buddies went.
so where's all
way
the
down
tax
there.
money going?
Oh well.
The billions.
Our opinion is
And they're using Blanche Lincoln as a case in point. She's using
You gotta let
the
Dylan
little
break the
line as her reason to go against stopping for letting the
no rules, no back room.
taxes or the no tax go on.
Has the right.
Instead of letting it expire. Because she says it's for small businesses who need
Hey.
that money.
I'm a
So
candidate
they
against
don't need to
this.
keep taxes. Well, it's not that they're small businesses.
But this is not just about this election. This is about all future
But they're
elections.
using the small businesses that are
Being a true democracy, moving away from that
operating
politics.
agenda. You know, it's like like
Ryan,
I am.
you're welcome.
I've done this while I'm doing that. You won't notice that I'm doing that back here. And it's just all proper laws. And when we've had it like this time,